What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. It's been quite some time since I started producing content surrounded around the What If Star Wars series, a series where we take a single part of the Star Wars mythos and then change it to explore the great and grand impacts on the wider universe. I've recently decided to bring the series back with stories like what if Palpatine was able to kill Luke and Darth Vader on the second Death Star, as well as what if Darth Maul managed to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine during the events of Star Wars Rebels. And today I wanted to explore a brand new story, and something that I've been thinking about for some time. Again guys, the idea of this story is to tell an accurate representation, at least of what I believe would occur if some of these events in Star Wars were to be altered, and how I think various events would end up impacting the Star Wars universe. So that now we're in the Star Wars slow season, I'm going to bring this series back, and bring it back with my interpretation on what if Qui-Gon Jinn trained Anakin Skywalker. What would happen if Qui-Gon Jinn actually survived his encounter with Darth Maul on the planet of Naboo, and was allowed to train the young Anakin Skywalker in the ways of a Jedi? What would the Star Wars universe look like if Qui-Gon Jinn managed to survive? We've explored before, but in Star Wars Legends, as well as in Star Wars canon, Palpatine only really held true fear for one Jedi. That Jedi was Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn was not exceptionally more powerful than the average Jedi, but he did hold tools that Palpatine truly feared. Palpatine feared that out of all of the Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn was the least blind, and would be able to train the young chosen one the most effectively to destroy the Sith at least. Before we get into the wider story, we have to look at the circumstances surrounding this final battle at Naboo. The Jedi have refused to come to the aid of Qui-Gon Jinn as well as Obi-Wan Kenobi, as well as the planet of Naboo itself. Darth Maul confronts both Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn, and manages to separate them. Instead, in our story, instead of Qui-Gon Jinn being killed by Darth Maul feels himself becoming overwhelmed by the might of two Jedi, and decides ultimately that he needs to escape rather than face the two Jedi on uneven ground and uneven terms. Darth Maul is playing things a little more safely. He's in this for the long run, and he believes he will have another opportunity to take the young child Anakin Skywalker for his master. Because of this, as Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul duel, Darth Maul takes the opportunity to escape, jumping down the same shaft to safety that he would later be cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original Star Wars depiction, managing to escape both Qui-Gon Jinn as well as Obi-Wan Kenobi. With Anakin Skywalker now safe, Qui-Gon Jinn decides to take both Obi-Wan as well as Anakin back to the Jedi High Council. However, Qui-Gon Jinn's opinion on the Council has been diminished drastically, even farther than before. Qui-Gon Jinn always had various queries with the Jedi Council, and believed that they had become clouded, not following the true will of the Force, and rather what the Jedi believed was the will of the Force. The difference between following the living Force as Qui-Gon Jinn did. But this is where Qui-Gon Jinn would draw the line, frustrated with the fact that the Jedi Council would not heed his warnings, and because of that, he, Obi-Wan, and Anakin were all nearly killed by a mysterious Sith assassin. Qui-Gon Jinn is more than frustrated with the Jedi Order, he's now furious. Bringing Anakin directly before the Jedi Council, Qui-Gon Jinn one more time inquires about the young boy's training, pleading his case for the chosen one a single more time. In The Phantom Menace though, Anakin Skywalker was only finally allowed to be trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi because it was the dying wish of Qui-Gon Jinn. And with Qui-Gon Jinn alive here, things have changed. The Jedi Council again denies the training of Anakin Skywalker, sensing the dark side of the Force growing within him. A now irate Qui-Gon Jinn screams at the Jedi Council, ashamed to even call himself a Jedi, realizing that the Council would rather turn their nose up on the individual that would one day bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith. With sad eyes, Qui-Gon Jinn turns to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then denounces his role as a Jedi Master, claiming that if the training of the young Anakin will not be sanctioned by the Jedi, it will be sanctioned by the Force, and Qui-Gon Jinn will be used as its representation. News of Qui-Gon Jinn's departure from the Jedi instantly ripples through the Order, as mainly the individual that takes the most interest in this is Jedi Master Dooku, who in Star Wars canon is still currently a Jedi Master. Dooku is somewhat relieved that Qui-Gon Jinn has decided to depart the Order, and wants to learn more about this young boy, the Chosen One. Venturing to Qui-Gon Jinn before he departs the Jedi Temple, Dooku inquires about the young boy, the boy that Qui-Gon Jinn believes to be the Chosen One. The two friends have not seen each other for years, and their first meeting is sorrowful but at the same time joyful. However, both men sense a difference in the other. Qui-Gon Jinn can sense that Dooku is somewhat of a darker individual. He's still the man that trained him in the ways of a Jedi, but there's something different about him. Dooku, on the other hand, senses true purpose in Qui-Gon Jinn, believing that he has finally found his true calling in the wide galaxy, and broken free from the chains imposed upon him by the Jedi Order. Is the boy truly this prophesied chosen one? Dooku says. I believe so, Master. His midichlorian count is higher than anything anyone has ever encountered before at the Jedi Temple, higher than Grandmaster Yoda. The boy has the potential to become one of the most powerful Force beings that have ever lived, on the level of such thing as entities, beyond a Jedi or a Sith. The boy emanates true power in the Force. He has been selected by the Force itself. If this child is truly the chosen one, and is as powerful as you claim, Master Qui-Gon, he requires a master far more experienced than yourself. I too will aid in the boy's training. The Jedi have grown far too complacent for my liking as well. It is time something new arises from the ashes of the Jedi Order. The Jedi have become complacent and foolish, turning away such power as the chosen one. Dooku grins. I too will depart the Jedi Order with you and the young Skywalker, and together we will create something new, something beautiful, something powerful. Qui-Gon subtly takes a step back. He is focused on Dooku's face and his soul. He senses something within his former master that he has never seen before. The darkness that Qui-Gon Jinn could subtly feel within his master Dooku begins to grow brighter. Dooku's eyes burn with something greater than passion for training the young Skywalker. Qui-Gon Jinn has seen this before, but never before in his master. At least nothing this potent. Qui-Gon Jinn sees the dark side. Dooku's grin slowly leaves his face as he sees the concern in Qui-Gon's. Or perhaps I will be called upon at a later date to assist in the training of the young Skywalker. I did not mean to suggest that you were incapable of training the boy Qui-Gon. I simply desired to offer my services. Hearing these words, Qui-Gon Jinn slowly relaxes. And when that day comes, Master Dooku, I will gladly call upon you. The two friends then smile and shake hands as Qui-Gon Jinn begins to exit the room. Qui-Gon, Dooku says softly but proudly, you will let me know where you are and how things are going with this young chosen one, won't you? Of course, Master, Qui-Gon Jinn responds, exiting the chambers. The next day, Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin Skywalker officially depart the Jedi Temple. Of all the Jedi saddened to see such a great master like Qui-Gon Jinn depart, Obi-Wan is the most melancholy. He has been ascended to the rank of a Jedi Knight, but to see his master leave on such shaky terms is troubling. The man that trained him to this knighthood. And more than this, Anakin Skywalker is in the hands of an individual that is not a Jedi. But still, Qui-Gon Jinn is the man that Obi-Wan trusts more than anyone else. And in his heart, Obi-Wan knows that if anyone is capable of training a being of such power, it is Qui-Gon Jinn. As Master Qui-Gon and Anakin's ship jumps into hyperspace, a single tear crosses Obi-Wan's face. Till we meet again, Master, Obi-Wan says softly. On the ship itself, Qui-Gon Jinn is nervous. His encounter with Dooku has troubled him. He knows the young boy, now solely in his possession, will change the course of history, for good or for bad. That much he knows, that both the dark as well as the light exist within the young Skywalker. More than this, Qui-Gon Jinn has developed immediate enemies, the Sith Lord that attempted to stop him on the planet of Naboo, and now perhaps even his former master in Jedi Dooku. The Jedi Order themselves, Qui-Gon Jinn knows too well, will attempt to keep tabs on him. Qui-Gon must locate a location that he knows the Jedi and perhaps the Sith will be hesitant to visit. A location where Qui-Gon Jinn can show Anakin the true methods of the light as well as the dark side of the Force. Qui-Gon reaches into the Force itself for the briefest of moments, searching for his answer. Only a single planet comes to mind, a single location where he can train the young Anakin Skywalker without the prying eyes of the Jedi. And if he's lucky, the prying eyes of the Sith. Qui-Gon Jinn knows that his methods will be unorthodox. Unlike nearly any Jedi before him, he must teach Anakin the ways of the light, the living Force, but also expose him to the darkness. Qui-Gon Jinn slowly but confidently enters the coordinates to the planet of Dathomir. As a side note here, I wanted to explore exactly why I selected the planet of Dathomir for the training of the young Anakin Skywalker. It's a planet, again, that is very powerful in the dark side of the Force. In Star Wars canon, Asajj Ventress actually trained Quinlan Vos there in the methods of the dark side. It's a planet that the Jedi Order does not seldom venture to because of how dangerous it is. Qui-Gon Jinn realizes, however, that he must familiarize Anakin Skywalker with the methods of the dark side. He must not hide it away from him as the Jedi intended to. And because of that, later, in my depiction of the story, we will see a much different Anakin Skywalker. Somebody far more powerful than we've seen in Star Wars canon. An individual not versed in only the methods of the light side of the Force, but also strongly versed in several ways of the dark side. An Anakin Skywalker trained in the harsh environment of Dathomir, and by Qui-Gon Jinn. An Anakin Skywalker that belongs to a new order entirely, not Jedi or Sith, with a single goal and single purpose in mind, to become as powerful and as balanced as possible. I'm going to go ahead and bring part 1 to an end. If you guys have enjoyed this episode so far, I would truly appreciate it if you could leave a like on the channel, and I will continue with the part 2 if this video can get 5,000 likes. Again, I want to bring the series back in full force now that we're in the off season of Star Wars, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying this new story that I'm crafting. As always, my friends, your continued support on the channel means the world to me. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.